Hey everyone! I wasn't planning on doing another talking video so soon, but Valve's Steam Machine just got its price revealed yesterday. And wow, yeah, it's quite the price tag. The 512GB model is priced at $1,050, and the 2TB model is currently priced at $1,349. That's a lot of money for not next, like, cutting edge hardware, right? We're using, like, yesteryear's hardware in a small form factor. And understandably so, people are freaking out about it on the internet. I've seen a bunch of YouTube reviews already that basically are saying it's dead on arrival. No one's gonna use this box. How could Valve do this to their loving fans? Uh, that last one kind of ticks me off. More on that later, though. But I'm actually going to get the 2TB version, and there's a lot of reasons why, and I think it's a lot of good reasons, and I want to talk about why in this video. Again, I wasn't really planning on doing another video so close to my last one, so this one also has no script. We're freeballing it, so let's just get right into it. For me personally, the main reason why I want the Steam Machine, and this is probably the biggest reason for me, is because kind of like that one Valve survey, like hardware survey suggested, it is a very, very big increase in power for me. Like, as far as, like, processing power, gaming power, that kind of thing. My current setup involves either my Xbox, my Steam Deck, or my Mac. And my Mac is definitely all over the place in terms of usefulness. It's definitely more useful for, like, editing and actual work. I use it as my work computer, right? So, I try to keep work and, like, video editing and stuff on my MacBook and less games. Whereas my Xbox has been sitting basically collecting dust for couple years now. I only booted up to play Fortnite, and I think that's about it. And really, it's because I just don't want to pay $60 for Xbox Live. There's no point to me paying for an online subscription if I'm not going to use the console, right? And then my Steam Deck has basically become my daily driver. I mean, I got it pretty soon when maybe like half a year after it was announced and like was available for like ordering, I think. Back when that whole thing happened. That was quite the time. I'm talking about like the whole like ordering fiasco and the fact that they were delayed and you couldn't get one for like over a year. It was crazy. But I use my Steam Deck all the time. In fact, most of the videos on this channel have been entirely recorded on my Steam Deck. And well, that first off, that explains why the aspect ratio is funky, in case you're curious, for that reason. But like on most of my videos. But yeah, the Steam Deck, it's for what it was worth at the time. It was a budget. It was like a bang for the budget, right? Bang for the buck. Because it was like $500 when I got it, and I've gotten several years worth like a value out of it. Like I have gotten my value out of my Steam Deck for sure. It is super versatile. I can take it on me on the go. Honestly, I've been sitting in bed and just playing it like in between work because I don't actually have, and I'll talk about this more later, but I don't actually have that much time to play games anymore. I still like games, but obviously I'm an adult now. I have to actually like worry about things. So the Steam Deck really fit a perfect niche for me, where I was looking at getting a more powerful computer at the time anyway, but also, it had the fun factor because it's a hybrid computer. You could like take it on with you on the go. You take your games on the go. And it was a nice boost up from the really crappy Windows laptop I had at the time. And it was just convenient, right? There was a lot of good reasons as to why I had a Steam Deck and why I still use my Steam Deck. It's very, very great. This channel would not work without me owning a Steam Deck, like a Steam Deck. This channel wouldn't exist without it. So, yeah. So then, obviously, and I guess I have a Switch too, but I'll be honest, I have not been playing that thing very much. I did just start Xenoblade. That's been really fun, but like Mario Kart World and like Donkey Kong Bonanza and the other Switch 2 games just really didn't do it for me, so kind of still waiting for something larger enough substance for that. But anyway, my point to all this is that from all of those other consoles' perspectives, this is a pretty significant jump. I mean, Valve literally said that the Steam Machine is 6 times more powerful than the Steam Deck, and I believe them, especially with some of the like reviewer benchmarks that we saw. It seems like that claim seems to be mostly true for most games. So yeah, and it's more powerful than like my M1 MacBook, right? Because obviously you can't play games on my on the Mac very well right now. I do use crossover quite a bit, but it's even with that, it's still like it's definitely not convenient, and it's definitely difficult to actually play games on the thing, right? So then enter the Steam Machine. The reason, one of the biggest reasons why I want it is because it would just fit my use case kind of perfectly. I hate tower PCs. I used to have one. I really don't like them. They're big, they're bulky, you need to have a desk for the most part. Even if you plug it into a TV, it's still just not that seamless of an experience. It's, you know, I don't want a tower PC. And I to be clear, I know that there are like mini PCs and stuff out there, but I don't know. I don't really like them. And especially for like the current market conditions we're in, I don't really think I'd want a mini PC at that point. I think I'd rather just go build my own rig. And at that point, I'm losing out on the living room gaming space, right? And that's kind of what I want. I don't want to go build my own rig and then lose that casual ability to just pick up a game and play. When I get home from work, the first thing I want to do is not go sit down at another desk and boot up my computer, right? I want to go chill in bed, or I want to go chill on the couch, and I just want to play some games. That's, you know, that convenience is one of the big things I'm really looking forward to here. Especially, you know, because of like the form factor as well. It's such a tiny little cube. It's perfect for just sticking like either on my nightstand, or not my nightstand, but like my dresser, because I hang my TV off the wall from my dresser. Or what I'm honestly planning on doing is like bringing it into the living room and placing it there, right? And then from there, just, or like, you know, or like the basement or whatever. I have several places I can put it in my house, but just the tiny box makes it so convenient to do that, because I can just set it somewhere, plug it in, plug an HDMI in, and then I'm good to go, right? It's got that console-like convenience. You're not plugging in like 500 different things like with a PC. And granted, I mean, with a PC, really, you're just plugging in the tower itself, so power, like a monitor, like a mouse and whatnot. It's still cumbersome, right? And it takes up a lot of room. It's just having a tiny little box that also is very quiet, which is not something that's super important to me, but it is a nice bonus for sure, especially if I was to try and, like, you know, record live commentaries like I've tried to do in the past, and I'm sure I will do so in the future. It'd be very, very helpful. And as well, on that form factor, it's so small that I could probably realistically throw it in my backpack if I was going to be out traveling, but still wanted to edit and like make a couple videos while I'm gone, right? Just take like a personal monitor with me, and, you know, a controller, and then, you know, I don't really need much else, right? I feel like it's kind of like a Swiss Army knife of a little computer, and that's one of the things I really like about my Steam Deck, is that it's a Swiss Army knife. To me, this is an extension of that, and with just more power, and that's really, you know, the power thing here is great for me, especially because for my use cases, I'm really looking into recording some better high-quality footage. I'm looking to emulating some games, especially Little Big Planet, which you've been seeing for the B-roll on this video. And also, I want to get something clear here as well. I know that this is technically, for the cost, the power doesn't really match, right? I could go build my own PC for $1,000 and get a much better, like, much more powerful machine. But for me personally, I don't actually play that many games that use up that much power. Like, the two big games I've played on the channel so far are Rogue Core and Starseeker, and I can't see either of these two games just guzzling power, right? They both run at decent frame rates on Steam Deck, so, I mean, come on now, right? And also on the note of that, I've seen a lot of people like comparing the Steam Machine to the PS5, right? And, you know, it is very comparable, but again, I don't want to spend $120. I think it's 120. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like 120 bucks each year on a online subscription. That's money I could be spending on other things, like a Steam Machine, right? That's really why I stopped using my Xbox, because I just didn't want to pay for Xbox Live. And thankfully, Fortnite is like the only game I still play on my Xbox. But you don't need Xbox Live to play Fortnite, so there's not really much point for me to not get other games on my Xbox. It's kind of my Fortnite machine, and that's really it, right? And I don't even really play Fortnite that much anymore. Maybe I'll make a video on this, because I have been playing some more Save the World lately, but again, that's a topic for probably another video. But yeah, I don't see the purpose of me spending 120 bucks a year just to have online play for my PlayStation if I was to get one, right? Even if, yes, it does provide more power, yes, it would be good for some of these games, especially because most of my games are on PC. I'd have to literally go and curate an entire new lobby, or like an entire new, library of games if I was to go get a PlayStation, right? So that the whole value proposition of like people saying like, oh, PlayStation's so much better though, it's like half the price and you get so much more things. It kind of starts to fall apart when you start doing some of this math, right? Because like, you know, $500, I think it's actually more than that now. Isn't it like 700 or something? I don't remember. For the PlayStation, maybe it is 500. For my purposes, let's just say it's like 600 or something, because I'm not looking this up but right now. But the PlayStation, let's say it's like 600 bucks or 700 or 500, whatever. And then you have to put, you know, PS Plus on top of that, their online subscription. And then for me, because I don't have any PlayStation games, I would have to go out and buy new PlayStation games. I know they run good sales, but still, you know, that's me buying a lot of games on a closed ecosystem product, right? Whereas with the Steam Machine, all my entire Steam backlog, because I've got a pretty large one, is just there. And if I want to emulate on the thing, I can do it. If I want to, you know, it's such a flexible device. That's really what I'm trying to say here, is that I can just kind of do whatever I want with it, right? And I know that, like, yeah, on the topic of like the power of this device, I know that it's not the most powerful thing for $1,000. But the thing is that I think it hits that sweet spot where it does just enough for what I really need it for, which is recording at least decently high footage and, you know, just playing games at a decent frame rate and, like, you know, on the couch or on the bed or whatever. And with a Steam controller, which I already have. I really like my Steam controller. But then also, I just don't play the latest and greatest games, and I don't play like the big heavy titles that I would need a lot of power for anyway, right? Like, I'm not trying to play some like Resident Evil, is it Requiem? I don't know. Or oh my gosh, the fact I can't even come up with modern game names right now probably should tell you how little I truly care like about most modern titles, because none of them just appeal to me. I don't find modern games to be interesting or engaging. Like, there's a couple exceptions probably that if I like took some time to think about it, I probably could figure out, but I just don't play modern games. It's just not something that I just really do. So to me, this seems like a pretty decent power upgrade for what it is. And, you know, if it was just the power upgrade, I probably wouldn't even consider this, right? Because at that rate, again, I just go make a PC, right? But again, it's the form factor, it's the noise level, it's the fact I could take it with me, it's the, you know, being able to emulate on the thing. It's not a closed ecosystem. It's just like, it's got Valve's seal of approval, and then like the storefront is on the front page, but if I wanted, I could go throw another OS on it, right? It's the Swiss Army knife that I think I kind of need right now, especially because I'm going to go back to college here this semester, and I don't have time to fiff and faff around with making a gigantic gaming rig or just like doing whatever. I work too much to like really worry a lot about that kind of stuff, right? I'm a pretty busy guy. I do a lot in my like I want to say spare time, but like away from like games and stuff. I'm working like 2 jobs right now, and I'm doing I'm going to college and stuff. So I don't have time to just sit here and like go make a pre-built and then worry about like, oh, well, every time I want to play a game, I gotta, get up and go push the power button and sit in the gamer chair and like, and like lean forward. I would rather be able to relax. That's really what I want to do with the Steam Machine. I feel like it's going to be the perfect device to allow me to do that. And then, I think there's something also to be said here about the fact that Valve's just got top tier customer support, and they are extremely good at updating their software. I've had a Steam Deck again for all these years. Their software support for the Steam OS and Steam Deck and whatever is top notch. It's actually crazy. Like they literally, the experience I had with my Steam Deck back then when it launched and the experience I have now is completely night and day. They added game recording, music. They fixed so many bugs. It's just, they've been like polishing the UI. They've been making everything a smooth experience. The kernel is getting better and better and better at being optimal and like optimal for gaming, right? It's perfect. I really like SteamOS. It's probably one of my favorite parts of my Steam Deck. Partly because it's not Windows, but but for real, like it's just, there is so much, like the software side of of SteamOS and Steam Deck, I feel like truly doesn't get appreciated enough because it's so good, man. They are constantly patching out new things. They're constantly trying new features, and they're like actually good features, like the kinds I'd want, right? Like game recording was an absolute game changer for me. In fact, I think just recently they changed Discord to have better game mode support, right? Or, well, they didn't change, like Valve didn't go and literally change Discord, but they changed the way that they interface with Discord. I don't really know how all that works. I'm not that technical, but point is that they fixed a lot of Discord specific bugs that have been kind of, a little, not like super problematic, but a little painful for me on the Steam Deck side, but they went and fixed a lot of it, and it's crazy. The way that Valve supports their products is genuinely incredible, and it's one of the reasons why I'm convinced, like, this is probably one of the bigger reasons why I genuinely want to get a Steam Machine as well, because it's like, if I was to get a pre-built from any other computer manufacturer, what happens when that pre-built breaks, right? I have to go deal with some random Joe Schmo customer support, or deal with people that don't know what they're talking about and are just trying to upsell me on stuff on in Best Buy, right? But with Valve, I reach out. In fact, let me share a little story here. My Steam Deck that I currently have is actually my 3rd Steam Deck. I got 2 free replacements. The first time was because the joystick broke, pretty early on. I think I had a faulty unit or something. I reached out to Steam support about it, shared some pictures, was like, hey, my Steam Deck's joystick broke. Is there a way I can fix this? Blah, blah, blah. And they literally said, hey, we're going to ship you a completely brand new one. Put it in a box. We'll send it back and we'll get you a new one, right? Okay, awesome. Thanks, Valve. Very cool. I got a second Steam Deck. Oh no, the charger on it didn't work. Like it just stopped charging for some reason, which is really, really bad. I reached out to Steam support again. This time I was fully expecting, just like, I literally asked them, I was like, hey, is there some kind of software setting going on? Why won't my Steam Deck charge, right? They did the exact same thing for me. They literally were like, okay, we'll just send you another one. Like, what? Like, what? No other company does this, bro. No other company is like, hey, man, we're going to send you 2 replacements. Like, no, that just doesn't happen. It's crazy. Seriously, like, those 2 moments literally won me over to, like, Valve's side, like, probably forever. It's because it was like, oh my goodness. So, let's say something happens to my Steam machine, right? Well, I have the peace of mind knowing that if I reach out to Steam's customer support, they're probably going to help me, and that it's probably going to be fine. So, yeah, I have a lot of trust in Steam's customer support. I just had nothing but good experiences with them. There's a reason why we like gamers say that, like, you know, Steam's customer support is unparalleled. It's absolutely insane how just nice they are. It's crazy. Anyway, yeah, the other thing I also want to mention real quick, and this is my last reason why I want the Steam Machine. It's just a fun device, you know? I think that there's something to be said about the fact of wanting to get something like this because it's fun, right? You know, the Steam Machine it's part of the Valve ecosystem. It's meant to, you know, work with your other Valve devices. It works seamlessly with the Steam controller. In fact, I'm going to be completely honest. I went to go play just some Minecraft yesterday on my Steam Deck. I decided, I'll plug it into the TV. I'll just, you know, use my Steam controller. But I knew, like, since the Steam Machine was coming out soon, I wondered if, like, the boot on wake thing was a thing for the Steam controller, even though I was using it in Bluetooth mode. It worked perfectly. I tried it. I literally pushed the Steam button on the controller. It just turned on my deck, despite, like, the fact it was plugged in or whatever. It wasn't even plugged in. It just turned on. I thought that was kind of sick. So, yeah. It's that kind of thoughtfulness about these products, I think, makes them better than the sum of their parts. Because if we were to look at the Steam Deck today, you know, it's not very powerful, but it's still got a lot of the great features and things that make it the Steam Deck. If you already have one, you probably still use it, right? It's just a super well thought out, very great package of a handheld. To me, I think the same thing is I'm going to get the same kind of experience out of the Steam Machine. I think it fits my use case. I think it's a good upgrade. I think the convenience of it is fantastic. Valve's top tier support and software is just fantastic, and it's just fun. I think all of the above reasons are great reasons for me to get the Steam Machine, and it's why I'm doing it. It's why I put my name down. And for those also wondering, the reason why I'm going for the 2 terabyte version instead of the 512 is just because I'm lazy. That's part of the thing, actually. It's just, I know I could probably, like, go hunting for, like, a proper SSD or whatever. Guys, I don't care. I don't feel like tearing down the box or, like, opening it up and just sticking it in, even if it is really easy. I'd rather just get 2 terabytes now and call it a day. 512's not that much, and I foresee myself using my Steam Machine for years to come, much like my Steam Deck, so I'd rather just invest in the higher tier, like, version. Dude, if I've already convinced myself I'm gonna spend $1,000, then I might as well just go a little higher than that, right? You know, for a pretty decent SSD upgrade. I know that, you know, AI. Let's talk about that real quick before I wrap up this video. First off, frick AI. The fact that we are even having to have these kinds of price discussions around what should be an incredibly hype announcement, and for me it still is, but the fact that, you know, people are like, oh man, well, you know, like, people are like worried about whether or not they can even afford the dang thing because it's $1,000, and that's a lot. And apparently it was supposed to ship at like $750 to $800 was like Valve's original plan. So it's quite a lot. It's a lot of money to spend on a device like this. And if this device didn't come with all the additional features and stuff, and if I wasn't really excited about it and think it'd be a worthwhile investment and fun, I wouldn't buy it. I would just, you know, like I said, I would just go and get a pre-built or just, you know, do something else. But yeah, it's yeah. Just the fact that I hate the current market conditions, man. The fact that we have to actually, like, think this through, and it's not just like it's like, I just want to go out and buy the console I want, you know. Man, dude, I bought the Steam Deck, the Switch 2, and I was like, man, $500 for this is not a very good deal. And it's starting to look a little bit like a better deal now. And I think it's just the fact that, you know, reality check is that we are still, you know, having to deal with AI. We're still having to do with people overspending overfunding in, you know, you know, the black hole that is AI right now, because it's not making any money for these companies. At least I don't think it is. And, you know, I don't know. Maybe that's a topic for another video. I don't want to harp on AI too much. We all know why the components are so gosh dang expensive, but yeah. I think that's all I had to say about this. I just wanted to chime in and give my 2 cents as to why I'm still going to get a Steam machine, even with the price increases. And I want to make it very clear, I really had to debate. Like, I'm so glad that Valve did a different reservation system this time, because I really had to sit down for a couple hours yesterday and just budget myself and think about whether or not I would even be able to afford this thing and whether or not it was even worth it at that price. To me, I think it's still worth it. I'm still going to get it. I'm very curious about the Steam frame, though, now. I hope that's not super expensive. I think it's going to be cheaper, though. I still think that the frame is going to be cheaper than the machine. I mean, it has 16 gigabytes of RAM, yes, but I think that I think it'll be cheaper. I don't know. Maybe that's a complete wrong thing and this video will age horribly, but I would be hard. I feel like frame is probably going to be max like $1,000. I would actually expect more like 800 to 900, if I'm being honest. So anyway, and that's for the entry model. I don't know what all is going to be in there, like quote unquote enthusiast model or anything. But yeah, I don't normally make tech videos. This isn't really something I do, but I just wanted to talk about this because it's you know, it's topical, but also just because I feel confident in Valve to deliver a good product, just like they have, right? And I will be recording videos on it. You know, I'll be getting my full experience with it. Maybe I'll make a sequel to this video if I, you know, feel it necessary when I get my hands on it. Just, you know, talking about the experience and whatever. But yeah, I'm hopeful about this device. Maybe that's misplaced hope. You could call it copium if you want. I don't really care. I think that the value proposition is still good here for me. I don't think it will be for everybody, but yeah, I think for my use case and what I want it for and whatnot, I think it's a good value proposition and I want to go through with it. So yeah, that's all I have for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be sure to catch you in the next one.